Hello there. This video will show you how to make a Freddy Krueger room for a haunted house. And the idea came from the first movie where Heather's boyfriend gets sucked into the bed. And I couldn't do that, of course, with all the blood. You can't do that in a haunted house. Do it over and over. And my next idea was to have someone sleeping on a bed, and then the Freddy Krueger hand comes out and then grabs the person and pulls them down. But then Freddy Krueger wouldn't be anywhere in the set; he'd just be underneath the bed. So then I came up with the idea of having Freddy hide somewhere in the room, and someone sleeping in the bed, and then he goes after the person, and the person disappears into the bed. So that's what I went with. And as you can see, this is like the final product right here, what we finally built. But the room started out, there wasn't anything there. I started out in the first year having a vampire room and a mausoleum. There's the vampire room. And that was the first year. And then what I wanted to do on the second year, there's the mausoleum. And this is the haunted forest over here. And then you enter through the haunted forest this way. Oh, did I mention this is a low budget? So anyone who's looking for low budget sets, this is perfect because all this is wood. Everything here is wood. And we did the haunted house for a charity, so we had to keep our budget really low. And we had wood, and we had some basic paint, like black and white. But everything else we had to buy ourselves. We had screws, wood screws and paint, and that was it. And we had a workshop with tools. But the only thing I bought for this room right here was some green paint, and then I made it look like marble. And you can't really see them, but there are little latches, drawer latches right here. Drawer pulls, I guess you call them, with lions' heads on them. But this is really low budget. Everything in this video is low budget, so you can do it with very little money. But we had this, the mausoleum, and then there's another mausoleum picture. Then it led into the vampire room. And that was the first year I built a set there. I built those two sets. There's the vampire room. And then here I start the next year. What I wanted to do was add the Freddy room. So I decided to there was some empty space, as you can see here. Here's the mausoleum. This is actually a loose wall. I took the mausoleum apart in this corner. The Freddy room the vampire room, if you can see my cursor, is over in this direction to the right. And then coming back towards the camera is the rest of the mausoleum. But it curved, and I took the curve out, and this is one of the wall units just leaning up against the wall. And there was this big empty space behind it, and that's where I was going to put the Freddy room. This is where the Freddy room will go. And then, let's see what the next picture is. Yep, I start moving things around. This is a view from inside of the vampire room, looking towards where the Freddy room is going to be. And right over here, you can see part of the mausoleum. So the mausoleum came in this way, and then it curved here and then went, you can see the floor here. It went down, see the railing? It went down into the vampire room. Everything has railings to keep the crowd inside their boundaries so they don't go out into the sets. See what the next picture is. There's that's getting ready. That's where the room is going to go. That's the back set of the vampire room. It had really tall walls on it, like 12 feet tall. Here's a picture looking through like a mausoleum, the two walls, and then here's the beginning of the Freddy room. I started making put this wall up first, and here's this back window you saw in the previous picture. Now I'm starting to build a little more. I'm making a square room. So I have this wall and then this wall, and then it'll come here. And down in this way, here's the vampire room. The crowd pathway will go in front here. So they'll be able, the Freddy room will be on their left as they're going through. Let's see, here we got to the point where I had all four walls up. I hadn't painted anything yet. And here's the bed. I don't have a lot of pictures of the bed. I should have taken more when I was building it. But this is just a mattress, and that's all it is. And what I did was I cut a square into, or more of a rectangle into it. And I left the fabric. I just slit the fabric, and I was careful to leave the fabric alone. And then I took the springs out of that center part. And then I folded the fabric and stapled it down so it would be nice and smooth. And the hardest part was bending the wires, because the wires were sticking out and they would have hurt caught on the dress and stuff of the actress. So the hardest part was bending the wires in so they would be nice and smooth. Then I brought the fabric down and it made a nice rectangle in here. And then the frame, which you can't see right here, it's painted black. It's just made out of 2x4s. So as you can see, a very low budget 2x4s for the frame, and then all these are 2x4s and some old plywood. It's not even good plywood. It's really crummy, but it's really low budget. And let's see, below here is the place where the actress would go. We usually had two actresses, and they would take turns. And there's plenty of room down here. And down off this way is a little doorway they can go through. And so they can enter under the bed from off the set, behind the scenes. They don't have to come into the room this way. There's a doorway over here where I come in, but they don't have to come in and then get into bed. They can sneak in underneath the bed, and it's a nice little area down there. There was some padding for them to sit on and to be comfortable. And then they switch places because it's hard for them to, let's see what the next picture is. Oh, there you can see the hole better. It's hard for them to, because they have to put their legs here, and then their body goes here, and their shoulders would go there, and then here's the pillow, and their head would be here. So they're holding up their body, holding it rigid before they let it go. And then they collapse down and they just disappear. But it's hard for them to do that over and over. So there's two actresses down there, and they just switch places and do it over and over. Let's see what the next picture is. That's getting further along a little more. You can see, still can't really see the frame because it's painted black, but you can see a different angle of where the hole is, how I folded the fabric in. Let's see what the next one is. It's starting to get a little better looking. I haven't painted the walls yet, but here you can see underneath. See how the hole is? You couldn't really see it very well in the last pictures. It looked like it had, let me go back. It looks like there's 2x4s here, but that's just an illusion. Now you can see it's opened up. That's their shoulders would be here and their head there, and then their feet down in this direction, and then they just collapse down underneath and disappear. It's a really good effect. And that's when the bed's all made up. See, I put some, I'm not sure what they call this, some fabric here. There's a name for that, but I can't think of it. A skirt, is it a skirt it's called? So it covers up the wood. And then here's a nice bed with some pillows, nice blanket. You can kind of see the little dent there because it just kind of goes in. But I fixed up the room real nice, painted the walls, put some pictures up here, put some nightstands, 2 nightstands with some lamps, little teddy bear. And then the crowd is over this way, the crowd pathway is just beyond this. Let's see what the next one is. That's a different angle. But Freddy, I was playing Freddy, so I would hide over in this section here. And I would crouch down real low so they wouldn't be able to see me. And then the actress would be right here. And the crowd is coming past. You can almost see the railing over here. It's in the shadow. But they're going this way towards the vampire room. Then the bed would be on their left. So they look at the bed and they see the actress. And I'm hiding. And then I lift up and I go after the actress, and then she disappears under the bed and screams and disappears. Then I go after the crowd. Oh, here's the railing. So the crowd is on the other side of this railing. See, I had a nice, that's a little, you can't see it, but that's a rat, a little pet rat, that little white thing. And there's a teddy bear, and the rat would be in there because it belonged to one of the actors. So he would put it in there for a little pet. In a chair, and I would be hiding behind here so you wouldn't see me, and then I would come up and the actress would be right here. Okay, there's a view of the railing. So the crowd is going on this side. Looks nice, this picture. It's a good picture. This one came out nice. You can see all the designs on the walls and stuff that I did. And the railing looked really nice, looked kind of old-fashioned. But the actress would be here, and the crowd would come past this way, and they'd see her. Then I'd come up and get her, and then she'd collapse into the bed screaming. Then I'd come around this way and go after the people who were coming by, and they would get scared and run this way. And this is the vampire room over here. You can see one of the lights, and you can see the edge of the coffin, one of the coffins. There were, I think, 4 coffins in there. So let's see. Yeah, there's the hallway. So the crowd comes this way. And then here's the Freddy room. Here's the railing. There's the nightstand. So as they're coming around this way, they're looking at this wall here. And they can't quite see the vampire room yet. And then when they get past this beam here, they see the Freddy room. And then they react to the Freddy room, what's going on. Then it pushes them this way into the vampire room. And this is all just really cheap stuff. All the wood, all this was donated. All this wood was donated. And they got a tax write-off for donating because it's a charity haunted house. And then here's all the black and white paint. We just made gray and all kinds of different designs with the paint. And then I probably had to buy that orange color paint. Any colors other than black and white we had to buy, but there wasn't that much. The stain I had to buy, but it's really inexpensive. There's kind of a view from inside. One of the vampires came over and visited before the show started, and I was sitting in a chair over this way. But you can see the railing from the inside. There's a picture they took. One of the photographers came from a newspaper and ready for the night. It said something up here, Halloween night, or ready to go for opening night. And that's me without my makeup, of course. And you can't really see the glove very well. It's right here. But I made my own glove with real knives. It's kind of, I'll show you a picture of that coming up. There it is. I was working on the glove. It's not perfect. I was low budget, like I said, and I didn't have enough time. I should have made this out of metal, this part here. but I could only use PVC pipe. And I should have aged the glove a little more, make it look older. But this should have been metal, darker metal. And it's kind of a brownish. I painted it brown. But the knives are real, with the idea of there's a spotlight in there. And when the spotlight shines down, it'll reflect off of the blades. And then the people will see that they're real blades. Otherwise, when I'm holding it at my side, it looks like a prop, like it's plastic. But when I hold it up and it hits the light, then it looks real. And then they scream because they're not used to seeing actors with real knives. That's kind of scary for them. There's the back side of it. This should have been, this is leather, and this is PVC over here. I don't have the glove with me right now, but I might make another video later on of the glove itself. So there's me getting into character, practicing. But you can almost see how the light reflects off of it. But when it hits the spotlight, it really reflects. And my makeup, I'm allergic to latex, so I can't wear latex. So it has to just be regular makeup. And then I put some of that black stuff on my teeth to make my teeth look like they're all rotted away. But it turned out pretty good, considering it's just makeup and no latex. But the glove, you can almost see it reflecting here. But it looked pretty scary. It freaked people out. The face looks a little better there. It's kind of hard to look like Freddy if you can't wear latex. But you can see my teeth are all blacked out, like they're all broken and rotted away. And the knives were scary. People saw those knives and they went running. That one looks pretty good. I almost look like Freddy there. Almost. Not bad. That one looks scary. I look pretty good there. I look kind of like Robert Englund there. Freddy Krueger going after his victim. That one looked pretty good too. You can do a lot with just makeup and no latex if you get the right expression on your face, because that person looks crazy. You wouldn't want to meet that person in a dark alley. That one looks good too. I tried to get the mouth. I tried to make my mouth look like Freddy Krueger. Because a lot of it has to do with the facial expressions. Even though he's wearing a lot of latex, it's his facial expressions. The way he opens his mouth and his eyes and his cheeks. I tried to get that when I did it, and it looked pretty good. Looks pretty scary. Oh, let me go back one. So this is where it begins. I just wanted to say she was a good actress. I think her name was Laura. And then there was another one, Jennifer. You might see a picture of her. They were both very good. But here, there's a couple of these pictures. This is the actual thing. We were rehearsing it, and I gave someone my camera, and I said, take some pictures. But normally, the first picture should have been of me hiding, and she's sleeping, and she doesn't know what's going on. See how she's holding herself up? She's kind of sinking down a little bit. It's hard to hold yourself up because the hole is right here. She should have been up a little higher. So her shoulders are kind of sinking down. But normally they'll be up a little higher. The pillow should be right up here so they can hold themselves up better. But normally it would start with me being hidden down here where you can't see me. Then when I hear the voices of the customers coming, then I lift up slowly, and she's asleep, and I'm looking at her, ready to go after her with my knives. And then I lift up, and she realizes I'm there. And this is all very slow. This should have been like 15, 20 pictures, and he could have showed rising up. Unfortunately, there's one video, but I can't get at it. I can't get access to it. And then this is a different angle where she didn't notice. This is a different time we did it, of the actual show. So sometimes she'll react when I'm halfway up, like that one. There I'm halfway up and she reacts, and sometimes she'll react a little bit later. But here I'm kind of stalking her. That looks like Freddy. That's a good one. She was a good actress. And then as you can kind of go back 2 pictures where she screams, and then I come after her with my knives. Let's see what the next one is. Oh, it doesn't show her disappearing into the bed. But she would then scream, and as I bring my hand down closer to her, then she disappears into the bed. And then I look up at the audience, the crowd going by, and then I say something like, "You're going to be next," and I come around the bed and go after them. So there's a good angle. That's of her sleeping. Sometimes I could come around different ways. There was a little place for me to hide by the door where I come in, and sometimes I would hide over there, because it's hard being down here all the time. It's hard on the legs and the knees. So sometimes I would go and stand by the doorway where I'd be hidden, and then they'd come in and see her, and then I would come in at a different angle. This is one of the times I came in around the other side of the bed. And she's sleeping, and then she sees I'm there. She wakes up. What's next? Oh, that's just me. I think we're almost at the end of the pictures. Sometimes I would go over to the vampire room. But see, it's all inexpensively made. The coffins. I had to buy this satin. I got that lamp from some kind of like a Goodwill store, I think it was. Close to where I lived, there was a Goodwill, and it was chipped. It was broken, so I got it for like $2, and then had some chain. And the coffins are all wood. I had to buy this satin, but everything else is donated. This was donated by one of the volunteers, and this is all styrofoam cut to look like bricks. And you can't see it, but there's like a piece of plexiglass here. It's black. So you can walk up in front of this and see your reflection. And it looks like you're seeing deep into a room somewhere, but it's just a piece of plexiglass. But I think that's the last picture. Yep, that's the last picture. All right, but that's the Freddy room. It's a low budget. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And it turns out real good. Okay, I hope that helps. I wish I had video, like I said, but there is a video out there somewhere. It was taken by one of the TV stations, and it was an introduction a few nights before the show actually started, and it's got us doing our little routine where I come up and she falls into the bed, and I come around to the camera and say my lines to the camera. But I couldn't find it. I looked in the archives of that TV station and I couldn't find it anywhere. That would have been nice to have. But nobody had a video camera. This was like about 10 years ago. So no one had any. I don't know. I didn't have one at the time. I didn't buy my camera until about 5 years ago. So there's no video, unfortunately. But you can get an idea of how to build everything from the pictures I showed you. It's really simple. Okay, I hope that helps you. And you can make a nice little Freddy room. I made a boiler room 2 years later, but I don't have many pictures of it. I only have 2 pictures of the boiler room. So I'm going to look around and see if I can find more. I don't think there are any. But the boiler room is good too. That turned out really well. But this bedroom is even better because they don't expect the person to fall into the bed. That's a surprise and it shocks him. Where the boiler room, there wasn't much Freddy could do. He would hide and then come out of the shadows and go after people. But there was no scare really, no shock. But when they see the woman go down into the bed screaming, then there's that shock and it scares them. And then Freddy comes after them. So it works really well. Okay, I hope that helps. I'll see you later. Bye.
You are all my children now.